AI Friday, and man, there's nothing obviously to talk about other than ChatGPT 5. My name is Rich Lennon. We talk from 9 to 9:10 every morning about growing the money. AI Fridays is all about staying ahead of artificial intelligence because if your plan is to grow wealth in the next decade, artificial intelligence needs to be part of that strategy. Therefore, we talk about it every Friday. And I just kind of love it. So there you go. So ChatGPT 5 was released yesterday. I don't know about everybody else, but I was sitting around hitting refresh all day long, and it was finally released to me after I went to bed. I only had access to it this morning, so I really haven't played around with it that much. But I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to talk about what is significant about it, and let's just start. Let's just roll right in. It is Here's how it's really significant that I think people are missing the point of. This is the first time that 95% of the AI users will have access to the reasoning models. ChatGPT 4.0 and the 4 series was all about predicting the next token. And the ChatGPT o3 Pro and o3 models were reasoning models, where when I say reasoning, I mean that they stop and they think, which is very different to the models before. And so they're for the first time, 700 million people that use ChatGPT on a monthly basis will have access to these reasoning models. And it's a significant upgrade to the previous models. And when I say how it's significantly different is that how you talk to it and how you drive it is way more significant than it was for the previous models. I personally thought that the prompt engineering thing was going to go away. I thought that the artificial intelligence was going to just intuitively understand what we want, but that has proven to be the opposite. If you're going to ask something to think about something, and that's what the reasoning models do, you have to thoroughly explain what you want it to do to get the type of result that you want. It's often not the artificial intelligence fault if you don't get an adequate answer. It's often the fault of the person who made the prompt. And so I think you'll see in the first week here, you'll see, and I've already seen it online, where a lot of people are complaining and saying, oh, it doesn't do what the 4.0 model does, and they don't like it, and it's like they're driving a Ferrari and they don't know how to get out of the driveway. And there's going to be a learning curve that is necessary for you, the person watching this, and for the rest of the people around, the rest of the 700 million people around. How do we use these AI models? And the key will be prompt engineering, where you have to be very specific about how you ask it. I won't go into that. That would take hours and hours and hours to explain, but you really need to begin to look into how do I prompt these big reasoning models so that I can be efficient in them. And what the things that the reasoning models can do are really, really impressive. One of the things that when they did the AI presentation yesterday, that Sam Altman and his team came out Thursday afternoon, August 7th, and they said, hey, we have this. We had this model, we're releasing it, and the thing that they harped on quite a bit during that presentation was what a disruptor this is going to be for education. And the way that we learn as humans is likely changing right in front of your eyes. And I, for one, immediately noticed the importance of that. And here's an example of how I pivoted in that moment. So I have kids, and I have kids that go to from middle school to high school, and it's hard to keep up with all their studies. It's hard to keep up with, like, how are they doing. I traditionally get the same thing that all the other parents get. I get to see whether they turned in assignments. After the fact, I get to see those grades of the assignments, and then of course I get the grades as they come out every quarter or every semester or the years or whatever. So AI as an educational tool is going to be massively impactful. And I'm going to tell you exactly what I'm going to do. So the syllabuses that the kids get for their studies, they'll get them at the beginning of the year, and then they'll get worksheets to come out along the year. And what my plan will be is, as a process of, I will have my kids come in the door, and then they will be responsible, just like I get my mail in the business. You go out to the mailbox, you get the mail, you come in, you open up the mail, you scan it, it goes into a process. The same thing is going to happen with my kids and their education. They're going to take those sheets and they're going to scan them in. And so now I'm going to have a really good idea of what the teacher is trying to teach the children. And I think a lot of people think of artificial intelligence as, oh, they're just going to use AI to look up the answers. That's not correct. What you can do is you can upload those sheets, and then you can come up with a learning education program that's stylized to your individual child to teach them that material, not give them the answers to it, but rather teach them the material. And I think it's going to give them a massive leg up. And so things like, if you're as your weekly assignments go along and as you're getting your weekly grades, the AI will remember the things that you struggled with in a given subject over time. So if you don't have any homework on a Thursday night, because my kids do that to me all the time. Hey, Johnny, did you do your homework tonight? Oh, no, Dad, I didn't have any math homework tonight. But with artificial intelligence, it understands the syllabus, it understands what the teacher's trying to give them, and they could still spend 10 or 15 minutes studying the things that are on their weakness, totally geared to them as an individual. I really think that this will be a little bit like what Alpha was doing in Austin, Texas, when they were doing their education programs, where the kids would come in, they would learn for just a couple hours, and they'd spend the rest of the time learning true life skills, and it really helped the children grow faster. So I plan to pair the artificial intelligence with the traditional school education. And you're going to see that in the middle school levels, the high school levels, the undergraduate levels, the graduate levels, the PhD levels, where the AI is really going to be impactful in education. You can really see that in the Open AI presentation. All right, the next thing that I think is going to be very impactful will be how good ChatGPT 5 is getting at coding. And I know every time I say that, I get a lot of pushback from people who say, oh, coding, we need humans to have coding. We need those top engineers. And that's true. We still need those top engineers that can put the architecture together. But I thought it was really interesting what Sam Altman was talking about. I forget the name of the CEO of Cursor, but he was having a conversation with the CEO of Cursor. And so when Cursor, which is a code writing platform, it's a at scale code writing platform, one of the largest platforms growth in the history of anything ever is Cursor, and similar to ChatGPT's takeoff, but for coding. And what they did was, when they first got the ChatGPT 5, they gave it access to Cursor's coding itself, and it allowed the ChatGPT 5 to go in and look at the Cursor coding. And it was really impressive, as they talked about it, of what the AI could go in and find. So it was not just, I'm going to write code for you, but it was able to understand the architecture and why Cursor did the things that they did, oftentimes for things like security, why they did those things, and it could understand it and could build on it. And that's significant. So previously, in a lot of the applications for the coding, it was like front end stuff. Like, I can write in a web page, I can write some applications, it could do some coding, like called in the 400-500 line like coding length, and you'd get it up there pretty quick and do it in a matter of minutes, when maybe it would take a human several hours to do it. And so, but this leap for ChatGPT 5, it's really able to understand the architecture now. And so we're seeing the leap of a reasoning model versus a predictive model. And it is going to make quite a few changes. So I encourage you to go learn how to learn that prompting, and then integrate it with your business or your personal life. I talked today about how I'm going to integrate with my personal life for education. Maybe next time I'll talk about how I'm going to integrate it into my business. But anyway, ChatGPT 5 is here. I'm going to play with it all weekend long. I'm sure I'll have a lot more to say about it next week. Then I think I had everything on my sheet today. We're at 8.5 minutes. And I know that I primarily talk about lending money and how do you grow your wealth, and those things are important. But I do think that you have to accept artificial intelligence, because you can't change it and I can't change it. And you can use it in your personal life and you can use it in your business life to get wildly ahead. Prompt engineering. My name is Rich Lennon. If you're interested about learning how to lend money, check me out, richlennon.com. Download the Smarter Wealth Blueprint. It's free, tells you exactly what I do and how I do it. Okay, I hope everybody has an amazing weekend, and I will see everybody on Monday.